Why, hello there, chat. Oh god, why is my microphone so loud? What the hell? Ooh. When did my microphone turn all the way up? What the fuck? I'm sorry if that was so loud. What the hell? My mic was turned all the way up. My bad. My bad, chat. Yeah, it's Leon S. Kennedy here. I have taken over the Bad Games Jules channel, but I've also kidnapped her birds. They are kidnapped currently. You've discovered something. Have you discovered gay birds that like to kiss? Or poke each other in the eye, I guess. Alright, so this is Requiem's Echo. Since I love Leon S. Kennedy, I know this is gonna be technically a het dating sim, but we love Leon. Leon's a butch lesbian, so that's what we're pretending. I don't remember how I discovered this. I think it might have been TikTok. Someone said that there was a Leon dating sim and I found it. And you know, I did a whole thing about, the Resident Evil Village dating sims, so I deadass thought it was gonna be yaoi. Honestly, like, from my knowledge of the Resident Evil fandom, Leon doesn't have that much yaoi. It's mostly, like, with Luis from Resident Evil 4, but it's mostly the girlies that like Leon, so... no, we are, oh, Jesus Christ. That's a little loud. Let me know if that's too loud. I might make the music just a little... Oh god, I hate that it's not a slider. Unfortunately, it's a lesbian that hates Shadowheart. How? How is that possible? Yeah, it's mostly Chris that has yaoi. Like, a lot of people ship Chris and Piers. If there's one thing that came out of Resident Evil 6, it's yaoi. The Fujioshis love Resident Evil 6. You ask a Fujiyoshi what their favorite Resident Evil game is, it's 6 because of Chris and Piers. 100%. 100%. Yeah, like, I don't understand how you can hate Shadowheart as a lesbian. That's mathematically impossible. Alright, how's the volume? If the music's too loud, I can turn it down, but if it's fine, then we'll leave it. I don't think there's any voice acting, so I'm gonna have to do all of it myself, of course, you know. My talented self can read. As you can tell by the near replicant streams, I know how to read real well. But yeah, Chris mostly has the yaoi. You got, like, the toxic stuff, like, with Wesker, but it's mostly Chris Piers. Joopy, when are you gonna replay 5 and 6 on stream? I did stream 5 and 6, I think, like, 4 years ago? God. Alright. If we're good, then let's start. I don't know what I'm in for, by the way. I have not seen a single... Choose a skin color. I'm looking real pale right now because my lighting... Okay, let me explain my lighting situation at the moment as well. My lighting situation is bad because my lighting that I usually have here, I don't know how it broke. So I do have these other lights that are, like, in front here, but they don't really make that much of a difference. Like, let me turn this off. Oh, it kind of makes somewhat of a difference. Alright, I'll leave that on. But, I'm kind of pale. Usually I'm not this pale, but I have been indoors. So we're gonna go with the palest one here, I guess. Having a massive losing streak on... Oh my god. Don't even get me started on Rivals, Jay. Rivals has been pissing me off recently. I have been playing... I got back into Rivals again, like, a couple days ago. I have been on so many losing streaks and just the worst teams I've ever fucking seen in my goddamn life. Literally, I played Rivals, I think it was yesterday, and I thought about streaming it. But I lost so many goddamn games that I got a headache. And I was like, you know what? Because I was gonna stream yesterday, but I was like, I'm gonna play some Rivals before I try to do a stream. I got a headache. I have a headache currently as well. I don't know. So my mental health. My health has just not been great this weekend. But no, I got a headache from playing Rivals. And I was like, why? The lighting situation is crazy. Yeah, I should just put out a 10-second video that says, addressing the lighting situation. I mean, is it terrible, chat? Like, I'm genuinely asking you, is my lighting so bad to the point where I should do something about it? I'll probably buy some new lights when I can again, but I think it's fine. It could be better. But then again, like, I don't have super bright lights because it kills me. Okay. Let's actually start the goddamn game. You step out of the worn-out house, the door creaking behind you as it swings shut. The weight of your gear drags at your body, but it's not just the equipment, it's the years. Oh my god, Black Panther in that game. I've been trying to cut back playing on Jeff because I've already lorded Jeff and I kind of want to learn more heroes to, like, get better at them. Jeff is easily my best hero. But, like, I get so pissed off sometimes when I try to learn other heroes or play other, especially support. And just Black Panther just kills me every time. And I'm like, if I was Jeff, I could do this. It looks like it's the middle of the day, but it's slightly dark, but you'd be too annoyed if you turned on the light switch type shit. I'll take that as a compliment, because I shit you not, there is not actually a working, like, overhead light in this room. It's purely lamps. I don't have any sort of, like, light switch that actually works in this room. Practically bullying. Yeah. Because, like, I just don't like light, because I have light sensitivity. So I just keep shit dark. You've been preparing for this night longer than you care to admit. Every step feels heavy. But you can't stop, not now. Your gaze lingers on the windows. Inside, the shadows of your old life remain. A life that feels like a ghost now. In case you haven't realized, this is also set in Resident Evil 4, not Resident Evil 2. Or 6. Photographs on the walls, dust-covered remnants of forgotten hobbies. There's a time when you had dreams, other dreams. But they've long since crumbled, replaced by a singular, consuming purpose. Hunting. You hear it. Birds? Sorry, it's a reflex. Birds flapping in a hurried ascent. You know what that means. Sunset is close. It's time. The bonfire pierces the encroaching darkness, a lone beacon amidst the towering trees. You finish threading the barbed wire from tree to tree, building a harsh perimeter around the clearing, a trap with no escape. Your gaze drifts toward the horizon as the sun sinks lower, disappearing behind the trees, casting long shadows that stretch like dark fingers clawing at the ground. Even Leon S. Kennedy is obsessed with bird Yuri. Of course he is. I am Leon S. Kennedy. You know what I meant to do before the stream? I meant to add bingo as like a sound thing that y'all could do. Remind me before Resident Evil month in October to do that, and I will, and I'll make it uber cheap so you can annoy the living shit out of me. Except it won't because I love bingo so much. You need to be fast, it'll come soon. Put tripwires outside the clearing as well. Put tripwires only inside the clearing. Let's do that. You extend the explosives beyond the clearing, placing tripwires along the outer perimeter. If any of them manage to slip past the first line of defense, these will catch them. Tonight, there's no escape. The forest deepens into shadow as you finish setting the tripwires. You nod, satisfied, but there's one last step. Pulling out a knife, you make a swift cut across your palm, letting your blood drip into the soil. It's dark, almost black in the fading light, and the ground drinks it up, vanishing as quickly as it falls. You wrap the wound with a strip of cloth, tightening it until the pain is just a dull throb. Also, can I mention, speaking of hands, how weird it is to try to type? I know, like, my fingers are exposed, but, like, even just holding the mouse with my gloves and typing on the keyboard earlier, it felt weird. I guess because you don't really use gloves for this kind of stuff, but I was like, oh, this feels weird. Today's different. You need all of them to come. I imagine we'll also use this sentence later on in the game, since this is a dating sim and there is content. But moving on. You've tried tracking them to their layers before, but the tunnels are too winding, too deep, too impossible to navigate. So instead, you draw them out, just like they lure humans, using their scent to pull people to their deaths. It's a brutal contest of hunters, and you intend to be the last one standing. Sliding the gas mask over your face, the rubber cool and constricting against your skin, you settle behind a tree. A shark. Yeah, we're actually a shark, romancing Leon S. Kennedy here. A sharp pang of isolation digs into you. You wish you didn't have to do this alone, but the remaining townsfolk have changed. This is a normal sentence on this stream anyway. Is it? Am I really that sexually cheeky on my streams? I like to think that I'm not, but I'll take your word for it. You are the leader of the Jules Story and fan club here. Consumed by whatever the creature emit, they've become something else. Something hollow. You need to put a stop to this before they sacrifice someone else. The last rays of sunlight disappear, leaving a dense, suffocating silence. It's as if the forest itself is holding its breath, aware of what's coming. No, I think the standards are just low enough. I'll take it. I'm gonna be, like, doing this, like, 90% of the stream because I keep wanting to see with both of my eyeballs, but, like, that's just not how Leon functions. Your hands tremble slightly as you grip the flamethrower. It's metal cold despite the sweat on your palms. Palms sweaty. Flames fire hot and ready. Look at me with my raps and rhymes here. As soon as the creatures step into the clearing, the explosives will rip through the first wave. What are we playing, COD Zombies over here? And the barbed wire will hold the rest in place. Then more will come. You'll pick them off, wave by wave, until nothing's left but ash. After all these years of hunting, it all comes down to this. Tonight you kill them all, or they finally take you. I'm sure Leon will also say that later in the... Leon's POV. Like, it's me, chat. I'm like the Temu version. God. Wish I were that buff. Good lord. Leon drives into the city. The streets dead and abandoned. Another ghost town, courtesy of Umbrella. Boarded windows, doors nailed shut, like they're trying to keep something out. Or in. He wonders how many are there. He thought that after Umbrella's downfall, they had dealt with all of them. But every now and then, another one pops up. He feels it, a prickle on the back of his neck. His eyes flick to a cracked window as he passes. But there's nothing there, just shadows shifting with the last light of day. Hate it when the neighbors are this quiet. That's not how Leon's... I gotta, like, channel a deeper voice, but not like that, good lord. The sun sinks lower, bleeding orange and red across the sky. He sighs, tapping his fingers on the handlebars. He wanted to get here earlier, but the mission briefing dragged on, and the local cops weren't exactly helpful. Well, they also wanted to avoid parking tickets, so there's that. Can't blame people for not wanting parking tickets, Leon. When he asked if they'd seen anything strange, they all gave him the same blank stare. Nope, nothing, sir. He's not sure if they're lying, clueless, or just terrified. His GPS flashes, guiding him toward the lab on the outskirts. It's nestled in the forest up on a hill. Easy enough, right? Just find the missing team, check the lab, and get out? Simple. Except it never is. Leon kills the engine and swings off the bike, the silence wrapping around him. The air feels wrong. Too still. The kind of stillness that gets under your skin. Okay, Leon. Just another spooky forest. What could go wrong? Can't wait for someone to comment on the voice acting of this. He moves on foot, the ground soft under his boots, dead leaves muffling his steps. His hand hovers next to his gun. The path is narrow, overgrown, and the shadows stretch out long in its fading light. Then he sees it, a flickering light through the trees. Leon stops, narrowing his eyes. Someone's here. Maybe it's the missing team, or something else. He steps off the path, crouching low behind a tree for cover, watching the bonfire pulse in the dark. I just know there will be a mood switch that feels way too anticlimactic. Yeah, when do we get to the romance part of this game? Whoever's camping out here has terrible taste in ambiance. You know, he would say something goofy like that, so I like it. Then a faint smell hits him, sweet, cloying, almost floral. He grips his gun tighter, muscles tensing as his instincts kicked in. This isn't the usual rotting stench of BOWs. This is different, wrong. Whatever's ahead, it feels like it's calling to him. The last of the sunlight slips behind the trees. Darkness closes in, and the light flickers again, casting eerie shadows that seems to reach for him. He moves forward, slow and steady, his senses on high alert. He's done this before, more times than he'd care to remember. Whatever's waiting in the dark, it's not going to catch him off guard. Leon's hand is getting foggy. Oh, Leon's head. I was going to say, how does your hand get foggy? Imagine being able to read. Leon's head is getting foggy, his senses dulled. He can see the fire now, a huge bonfire lighting up the dark. Spotting an opening, he steps forward, but something brushes against his chest, a wire. The faint beeping reaches him a second too late. Guess I really walked into that one. The tripwire triggers, a deafening blast tearing through the air. Did I kill him? What the? Well, that is the game! Speed run! Alright! Oh, I killed Leon. Cool. If I press continue, like... Oh. Alright. Died in a dating sim. Okay. So... Where's my choice? Did it... Okay, it should be here. Alright. Put tripwires only on the inside. That's crazy that I picked... I didn't know that there was bad, wrong choices immediately. Welcome, Trash Man. Use the fast option, maybe? Okay, this is definitely new dialogue. If it's the same dialogue, then I'll just skip over it. They'll be drawn to the bonfire like moths to a flame. Concentrating the explosives within the clearing will ensure they're right where you want them when the... Let's read that again. I clearly lost my mind reading that. They'll be drawn to the bonfire like moths to a flame. Concentrating the explosives within the clearing will ensure they're right where you want them when the trap springs. Spring trap? FNAF reference? That's for you, chat. The forest deepens into shadow as you finish setting the tripwires. You nod, satisfied, but there's one last step. Okay, we definitely... Okay. Oh, fuck. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Never mind. Okay. That's the wrong thing I wanted to do. Alright. So that just skips until the next choice. Okay. Alright, so let's get to the choice and then I will make sure not to skip. Okay. Inside. Yep. Okay. How do I turn it off? Okay. Okay. Okay, Jules, you want to play games? We'll play games. Oh my god. Okay, so this is stuff we... Okay, this should be different. That's the same... What's the name of William Afton's son? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I've seen the lore videos. What's his name? Why am I blanking on his name, dude? Doesn't he have two sons, technically, as well? Oh my god. I don't remember his son's name. Look, this is a Resident Evil stream! It's the same... Okay, I think it's different. He moves forward, slow and steady, his senses on high alert. He's done this before, more times than he'd care to remember. Which FNAF game came first? Clearly it was Hollow Knight. That was the first FNAF game. Whatever's waiting in the dark, it's not going to catch him off guard. Except it did the first time around. Lore-wise, isn't it 3? Pretty sure it's 3. You listen. Breath fogging the inside of your gas mask. The forest feels suffocating. Every shadow pressing in, thick with tension. 3 is the finale? Then is it 2? Oh. I thought they were, like, constantly going backwards. Is it sister location? It might- I don't fucking know. I don't remember. I just watched a lore video. I don't remember what the lore was. Ugh, my wig is so itchy, dude. Ugh. Never cosplay. Especially if you don't like headaches. A sharp creaking noise. Sharp creaking noise breaks the silence. The sound of... I have never seen that word in my life. chitinous, legs scraping over dark bark. Dry bark. My god. I'm trying to rhyme everything. The familiar clicks and snaps you've come to associate with the creatures. They're here. Your heart pounds and you steady your breaths, the filtered air dry and stale against your lips. Fingers tightening around the flamethrower, you prepare to rise from your hiding spot, every muscle coiled. Hooray! I pronounced it right! But then movement catches your eye, a figure slipping through the clearing. A man. Yeah, I'd also be on high alert if it was just a man. You freeze, watching as he steps closer to your traps. Wait, is he... He's disabling your tripwires! I think this is an RPG Maker game. I linked it in the YouTube description if you want a closer look at it or if you want to play it for yourself, for anyone watching the VOD. But yeah, I think it is RPG Maker. This is on, like, itch.io. Your pulse races, heart hammering in your ears. Without thinking, you sprint from your spot, weaving through the traps you've committed to memory. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that word means. You! Stop! Your voice comes out muffled, distorted by the mask. Oh, I should have said, you! Stop! There you go. But he halts, turning to face you. No, I don't know. What? I don't know what that means. Chat, what are you trying to indoctrinate me into? You're a lucky person. Keep it that way. Okay. For a split second, you're taken aback. He's not what you expected. Sharp features, piercing gaze, striking in a way that seems out of place here. I told you I'm a pure innocent streamer. Y'all keep thinking when I make these sexual jokes, it's because I'm a sexual deviant. I am a pure streamer here. Not the kind of person you'd expect to stumble into a nightmare like this. Your gaze flicks to his hand, hovering near his gun. Posture tense and controlled, definitely not a civilian. What the hell do you think you're doing? These traps are mine. These traps are mine. I'd appreciate it if you didn't mess with them. He glances around at the scattered wires, looking almost amused. Oh, my bad. How many did you disable already? He tilts his head, thinking for a moment. A few. I have never thought that you're projecting. You've never thought that I was a pure streamer or a sexual deviant streamer. You curse under your breath, gripping the flamethrower tighter. Just your luck. A clueless outsider ruining the day you've waited years for. Why do you need so many explosives? I'm hunting. His eyes shift to the flamethrower in your hands, then to the barbed wire strung between the trees. You have a rather unconventional way of hunting. You take a steadying breath. No time for this. You're not from this town, are you? You really should leave. Now. Your gaze drifts to the tree line, where you sense movement. The scent is starting to seep in, that sickly sweet floral odor of the creatures emit. He's not wearing a mask. Already, you see a slight daze in his eyes. He won't last long if they get too close. What, are we fighting the clickers from, like, Last of Us? The man shakes his head, taking a step closer. Not an option. I've got to get to that lab, and this is the only way through. You fidget with the flamethrower, torn between curiosity and frustration. Whoever he is, he needs to leave. You have no idea what's out there. Turn around. Wait until morning. Whatever you're looking for at that lab, it's already been ransacked. But do whatever you want. Just not right now. Familiar sound echoes through the forest. The same clicking, the same sickening creak. They're getting closer. He hears it too. His stance shifting, eyes narrowing. What exactly are you hunting? Before you can respond, yellow eyes blink to life at the edge of the woods. Dozens of them, gleaming like fireflies in the dark, shifting as they lock onto you. There are more than you expected, likely drawn by his scent as well. You can't fight them all without the explosives. Run. You don't wait for his response. Explosions erupt, the ground shaking underfoot. But the creatures charge through the smoke, faster than you anticipated. You dash forward, dodging traps, weaving through the maze of wires and explosives. Playing Metal Gear Solid here now. Gunshots ring out from behind you. You glance back, catching sight of him, firing at the creatures as he runs, somehow keeping pace. Save your bullets, it won't kill them. A sharp crack sounds, and suddenly warm air seeps into the mask. A piece of debris must have punctured it. You're exposed now. No spare within reach. You can only keep running. Barreling through the underbrush, you fire the flamethrower behind you, a wave of fire scorching through the air. The creatures shriek and stumble back, but keep coming. You see him aim, shooting one of the explosives rigged to a nearby tree. The explosion rocks the clearing, and smoke blankets everything, the forest erupting into chaos. You run until you're far away, gasping as you tear off the broken mask. The cool night air fills your lungs, but it feels like a failure. Everything you built is gone. The traps, the explosives, all of it was wasted. The man catches up, glancing back at the smoke. Oh my god, look at the breathing! Glancing back at the smoke, and his fire flickering, and the fire flickering in the distance. His gun is still in hand, and he looks unfazed. Quite the fireworks show back there. This dude. He looks at you, raising an eyebrow. What were those things? You fought them before, right? Your blood boils. It's all your fault. And you throw the broken mask to the ground. I won't blame Leon. I can never blame Leon. You should have kept going. Should have stuck with the plan and ignored the outsider. Your fury fades, giving way to a hollow sense of defeat. I prepared for this day for a long time. I was going to kill all of them. There's no way... Oh, this is Leon. There's no way you could have taken them all down on your own. You shake your head, chuckling low as tears prickle at your eyes. You have no energy left to argue. Right, I should have known. I've already failed so many people. Oh, this is me. Fuck! I can't read, chat! Right, I should have known. I've already failed so many people. What's one more mistake? Damn. Trauma dumping on Leon? Look, I didn't mean to mess things up. Leave, outsider, before you mess things up even further. It's not safe here. He narrows his gaze, looking at you with a calm that only makes your frustration flare hotter. Not for me. For you. You're going to get yourself killed if you keep this up. Excuse me? You're the one who almost got yourself killed back there. I'm trained for this. I can handle it. You don't know these things like I do. They lure you with their scent. You want to get to the lab now? Go ahead, but you'll end up like everyone else who's tried. Dead. He pauses, and for the first time, you see his expression soften slightly as he studies you. Did you see a team come through here? A lot of people come through here. They go to the lab to get what they want, and they leave us to our fate. Or they go and never come back. Whoever you're looking for, they're probably dead, or worse. The man looks back toward the forest, his expression turning somber, thoughtful. I need to go to the lab and figure out what happened to them. I'm not leaving until I do. You shake your head, unsurprised. Of course, they're all the same. Good luck, you'll need it. Without waiting for a response, you turn and march away, ignoring the ache in your chest. You'll have to start all over again, rebuild, rearm. Your hand finds the pendant resting against your chest. You grip it tightly, letting the familiar shape press into your skin. I'm sorry. You storm back to the house, slamming the door behind you. The gear drops from your hands, but you barely notice. All you can think about is him, the arrogant outsider with his stoic face. You grit your teeth. He's going to get himself killed, you know it. He doesn't even have a mask. The second he gets close to the lab, he's as good as dead. We gotta save Leon S. Kennedy. You told him to leave, warned him what was out there. If he dies, that's on him. You owe him nothing. He ruined your plan, your final chance at saving the rest of this town. But the thought of him stumbling into the lab, clueless, gnaws at you. Why the hell do you care? You shouldn't. You don't. Lies! We're lying on stream! Despite the hunter's aggression, Leon decides to heed her warning. He waits until early morning before heading to the lab, her sharp words still lingering in his mind. Live stream. Yeah, I'm a pioneer in live streaming instead of live streaming. He can't shake the thought that she left too abruptly, without giving him a real chance to help. He could have used more intel, maybe kept an eye on her too. Well, Leon, because I'm a woman, you think I need help? Sexist much? The last thing he wants is to watch another life get swallowed by Umbrella's mess. They've taken too much already. He shakes his head, recalling the fierce determination in her eyes, the way she seems set on wiping out those creatures at any cost. There's no doubt in his mind that BOWs are involved here. He's seen enough of Umbrella's twisted work to recognize the signs. It's almost impressive in a grim way that she's held her ground for so long. The lab looms ahead, abandoned and half crumbled. He pushes through the entrance. The hunter hadn't been lying. The place has been thoroughly ransacked. Papers scattered, equipment smashed. Whatever was here is long gone. Perfect. More loose ends. Umbrella had so many labs scattered throughout the globe. It's been nearly impossible to track them all down. Some, like this one, escaped the government's eye, but not the mercenaries. He looks around, wondering what they stole this time, and what it might lead to. Another outbreak? Another bioweapon? It's always something. As soon as he finds out what this new threat is, the better. Maybe the rest of the town and that hunter can still be saved. He pauses, his mind drifting back to Spain. The village, the people, so many lives destroyed, so many people who never had a chance. He clenches his fist, wishing, again, that he could stop it all, for good. But nothing is ever that simple. He's just one man, fighting the endless war. Still, he'll do what he can like he always does. He pulls himself back to the present, focusing on the task. After rummaging through a few cabinets, he finds a torn notebook, its pages smudged with age and grime. It seems like a personal diary of the lead scientist. April 12th, 1988. No, I was not born, Chad. I'm not that old. Initial tests with the mold on humans have been promising, though at great cost. Mortality rates are high, but I am confident that we will create a host strong enough to receive their progenitor virus. November 3rd, 1990. Still not born. I seem to have found a way to reduce the mortality rate, but the subjects are changing. Disturbingly so. They're becoming more moth-like, though imperfectly. The process of HGT... I almost read that as HRT. I mean, with Resident Evil, who... makes sense. The Umbrella actually created our HRT, confirmed. We all thank Umbrella. Clap for Umbrella. These hybrids are now half human, half insect. Disgusting. Emitting a powerful scent that draws humans towards them. The smell acts like the pheromones of female moths, inducing a heightened arousal state in those nearby. Clap, clap. Masks are now mandatory for all personnel in the test areas. Subjects must remain contained at all costs. This might prove useful to capture new test subjects. Half human. What are we today, Ria? Are we half human, half insect like the game? Or still vampire? Or 1992? Still not born. August 14, 1992. Umbrella would make amazing HRT. Yeah, that shit would be so effective. Get Umbrella on this shit. Come on now. The townsfolk whisper about a creature of folklore roaming the forest, which serves our purposes well. A new development. Subjects have been reproducing. Aw, they've been fucking... Damn, what you writing about it for? They're actually writing AO3 about their monsters they're creating. That's kind of crazy, Umbrella. Never would have thought to do that. Won't get a word out of me. Their larvae feed exclusively on human flesh. I am uncertain if these offspring... God, they're into Vor too? This is the worst AO3 entry I've ever read in my life. I'm uncertain if these offspring will be able to receive the virus, but it's a potential breakthrough. We will continue observation. March 2nd, 1993. Disappointing results. The offspring are weak, unable to withstand viral integration. It appears that the strength of the parents is critical. Only the strongest host can pass on resilience. The weaker offspring have been discarded. I will require more test subjects, stronger young adults, preferably those in their physical prime. This town's population will be depleted soon if we're not careful. Leon flips the page, but dozens of entries are missing. Years torn away, leaving only the final one, frantic, scrawled handwriting, as if scientists had written it in its last desperate moments. The puzzle here is tagging the entries with the AO3 tags correctly. Okay, I was alive here. I have been born. February 8th, 2003. Umbrella has cut us off. The facility is compromised. Someone set the creatures loose. They're everywhere, and the staff have begun to fall. I've managed to escape with my mask intact, but the end is near. There's no redemption for me. But I will seek forgiveness all the same. The church, perhaps it's the last place I'll find peace. After that, I leave this cursed town for good. I mean, so far we got what? Vor, bug sex. That's probably a tag somewhere on AO3. No one looked that up. I don't need to be informed if that is a real tag. Uh, science, sex, the church, huh? He radios Hunnigan, relaying the situation and the contents of the diary. She promises to notify the higher-ups and arrange the reinforcements, but of course it'll take time. Leon sighs. Reinforcements always take time. I'll send you the blueprints we have on file for the lab. There's mention of an underground facility. Looks like you'll need a keycard to get in. Understood. Thanks. He follows her directions and finds the door to the underground section, but as she warned, it's locked tight. He'll need to get in if he wants to find out what happened to the missing team. Welcome, welcome. Just as he's about to search elsewhere, he hears a faint noise. Then a familiar scent reaches him, sickly sweet, cloying with a strange floral edge. Oh, the clickers are back. Didn't the hunter say these things only come out at night? The smell thickens, his head swimming slightly. He snaps his gun up, instincts kicking in as something shuffles closer in the dark. He fires, the gunshot ringing out, but the creature barely slows, advancing with a twisted insectoid screech. Then flames light upon the room. He turns, catching sight of the hunter, her face obscured by her gas mask. Relief flares up, but it's brief. Which part of bullets don't work don't you get? Or do you just like wasting ammo? Look, if it were me, I'd still be shooting. Looks at my Resident Evil Outbreak playthrough. What do you mean I can't kill it? Leon's jaw tightens, annoyance replacing his earlier relief. Of course she has to make this difficult. The man catches up with you outside, his eyes narrowed, but you can almost see a flicker of relief beneath his guarded expression. You were following me? Next time, if you want a closer look, maybe just ask. I wanted to see— oh, this is me. Imagine reading! I wanted to see if you were as competent as you claimed. You give him a once-over. Unimpressed. Clearly not. What are we, a tsundere over here? I had everything under control. You scoff, not even trying to hide your frustration. Sure. If you plan to stick around, you'll need a mask, outsider. I won't always be here to save your ass. Name's Leon. And I figured that out myself. Thanks. You shake your head and turn on your heel, ready to leave him to his fate. I found a door to an underground section of the lab. You pause, glancing back. The creatures probably hide here during the day. That's where their nests are. You'll never be able to kill them all without going down there. And, to get in, we'll need a keycard. He nods towards the lab entrance, then looks back at you, his gaze steady. And supplies. If you want to blow this place skin high. Jesus Christ. Remember, English is my first and only language, yet I still can't read it. If we want to blow this place sky high. You raise an eyebrow, skeptical. We? I'm not thrilled about it, but you're going to have to keep hunting them anyway, right? Might as well join forces. You search his face for any sign of deceit, but he just stares back, annoyingly calm. You don't trust this guy, but you're willing to take any chance to end this, even if it means teaming up. You know. Say please! What? Oh, that's not— I thought I was saying please help me! Okay, I turned this kinkier than I thought I would. Say please and I'll help you. Are you serious? I'm the one doing the help here. You cross your arms and wait, watching him wrestle with himself, his pride visibly taking a hit. Finally, he sighs. You sure do make a guy work for it, huh? Fine. Please. You start to smile as he completes the sentence. Please try not to enjoy this too much. Your smile fades into a frown. Oh, trust me. I won't. You pull an old, worn map out of the town from your jacket. What, do we steal Leon's jacket? He doesn't have his jacket on him. Leon leans into the map and over his shoulder and brushes against yours. For a moment, you catch the scent of him. Sweat and smoke from the fight, mixed with something faintly sharp like aftershave. Of course. Writers on AO3 sometimes write, English is not my first language, and their English is almost flawless. English is your first language, and it's not almost flawless. Hey, at least I can acknowledge my shortcomings of being American, and this— hey, American experience, I'm telling you. If I was British, the British invented the English language. Americans only just took it and made it their own. So that's my alibi here. It's like, Juby, that's not a good alibi. Being American is a shortcoming. I'm glad we agree. True. It's oddly distracting and you step back with a glare. Here's the layout of the town. Most of the gas masks have been destroyed by the townsfolk, but we might find a few at the... You swallow, your throat tightening. Fire station. His eyes flick to you, catching the hesitation in your voice. Why did the townsfolk destroy the masks? Memories flash through your mind of glassy-eyed townsfolk in a crazed frenzy. Their minds lost to the pheromones. Endless... What?! The endless orgies? The who? The huh? Is there a different meaning to this word than I know? Yeah, oh? I didn't expect this in a huh? Okay. The way they all practically worship the creatures now, like twisted prophets of some new grotesque religion. Leon, what are you doing in your off time? It's against their beliefs. I had a few spare ones, but they got destroyed yesterday thanks to a noisy outsider. Maybe you should have kept them somewhere safer. And maybe you should have never come here. A faint smirk tugs at his lips, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Then I'd have missed out on meeting such a charming person as yourself. You glare, hating the way he just won't back down, the way he seems to find humor in every jab. And where can we find explosives? You jab a finger at some spot on the map. Here, the construction site. There should be some left in the crates. With any luck, they're still intact. Leon studies the map with a furrowed brow, then nods. The keycard is probably at the church. I found a note about it back in the lab. He looks up, meeting your gaze with that infuriating calm. You're the local. Where do we start? Should probably get the mask first, right? Oh? I did not know that there was a double meaning to that. Thank you for the lookup, Rhea. Let's go to the fire station first, I guess. You take a deep breath and walk inside the fire station, just as empty and abandoned as it was the last time you came here. But now, inside it again, you feel the weight pressing down harder than before. The memories flood back, uninvited, the sound of your father's voice, the sight of him in his gear, the pride in his eyes, the way he'd talk about the work he did. It's been years, but somehow the pain feels fresh, sharp as broken glass. Leon scans the surroundings, his gaze darting around the room, assessing every potential threat and exit, his stance betraying his training, all business, all vigilance. You, on the other hand, are just trying to keep to yourself. You, on the other hand, are just trying to keep yourself together, forcing one foot in front of the other. The last thing you want is for him to see how much this place affects you. The layout's simple. First floor has the main room, storage, some lockers. Upstairs, risky. There's probably nothing we need up there. You know an awful lot. You catch the flicker of curiosity in his eyes, and attention seizes in your chest. Memories flash too fast to block them out. Your father's gruff laugh echoing off the walls, the smell of burning wood from the old stove, the sound of men joking, slapping each other on the back. The ache you've buried for so long sharpens, settling like a stone in your chest. I came here a lot when I was younger. You keep your voice flat, but Leon's gaze narrows, as though he can see straight through the wall you're trying to put up. He's not stupid. He knows there's more you're not saying. For a moment his brow furrows, his expression softening, just enough to make you uneasy. You can feel him weighing his words, like he's considering saying something kind, something that might crack through the armor you've built around yourself. If this place means something to you, we can... Don't. Your voice comes out sharper than you intend, cutting him off before he can finish. You don't care. The last thing you need is him poking around in parts of you that aren't his business. I'm not gonna say that this sentence might also be said somewhere else down the line. Moving on. Leon's jaw tightens, his mouth pressing into a thin line. For a moment, he just looks at you. An unreadable expression in his eyes. Finally, he gives a short nod, clearly deciding to drop it. Fine. The word lands heavy between you, thickening the silence. You can feel the distance growing, as if both of you are retreating behind invisible walls, mirroring each other's defenses. The quiet stretches taut with unspoken things neither of you are willing to acknowledge. At last, Leon jerks his head towards the staircase, his voice cold and brisk. We should check the second floor, too. Could be more supplies up there. Jules, do you just want to see women? As a lesbian, the answer is yes. Yeah, can someone mod Leon to be a woman in this game, please? Thanks. The structure's a mess. It's better if we stick to the first floor. Make sure we don't miss anything. His eyes narrow, his stance firm, as if he's digging in his heels just to challenge you. That's exactly why we should go up. The townsfolk probably haven't searched here. It might be worth the risk. The frustration coils tighter in your chest, the weight of the memories pressing down like lead. You want to tell him to back off, to stay out of the places he doesn't belong, but the stubborn set of his jaw mirrors your own. You know he's not going to back down. I'm gonna follow my gut. Women! No, I know this place. If there's anything left, it'll be here on the first floor. Leon lets out a sigh, clearly annoyed. You're sure you're not just being stubborn? Help me look or don't, your call. You don't wait for him to argue, already scanning the room, checking through the lockers and overturned shelves. It's slow work, and you can feel Leon's impatience radiating off him. Every so often he glances toward the stairs, clearly itching to go up. He's like an impatient dog just over there. Minutes drag by and you're starting to wonder if he might be right, but then behind a pile of fallen cabinets, you find a stash of masks tucked away in an old duffel bag. You pull it out, a strange sense of relief settling over you. As you unzip the bag, a small slip of paper falls out. Yellowed and creased, you unfold it slowly, recognizing the familiar, rough handwriting immediately. It's from your father. In case you ever need it, sweetheart, I hope you're long gone by the time anyone finds this. Live a good life, somewhere safe. You swallow hard, a lump forming in your throat, Leon still scanning the room, oblivious. For a second, you consider showing him the note, sharing that piece of yourself, just this once, but then the walls come back, solid and unyielding. You fold the paper and slip it into your pocket. Leon's voice breaks through the quiet. Find anything? Yeah, found some masks, like I said we would. You hold them up, forcing your voice to stay steady, as if nothing just happened. He nods, satisfied, and gestures toward the exit. Good. Then let's get out of here. You follow him out of the station, leaving behind the memories and the ghosts that cling to this place like shadows. The silence between you is as heavy as ever, and though you walk side by side, you feel miles apart. By the time they reach her house, the sky has deepened to a dark, heavy blue, and the evening chill has settled around them. She stops abruptly at her door, noticing a bloody note tacked to the wood, a smudge of crimson smeared across the words. She reads it with a scoff, crumbles it in her hand, and tosses it aside without a second thought. That's littering! We're doing illegal things! Leon glances down, catching the streaks of ink mixed with dried blood. What does it say? She gives a dry, humorless laugh. One of the town's leaders is warning me off, saying I've killed too many of their precious creatures. They don't like the balance being disrupted. She shrugs, an edge of bitterness in her voice. They tried to stop me before. Nothing new. Aren't they going to come after you for that? Let them try. Her tone is sharp, edged with a weariness that speaks of repetition. If they do, I have other hideouts. She pushes the door open, stepping inside without looking back. Leon follows, and the place hits him like a wall. Strange, stifling mix of mothballs and plant oils. The windows sealed tightly, curtains drawn to block out any stray pheromones. As she moves through the small space, her movements are precise, each step purpose-driven. She glides over to a concealed compartment in the floor, pulls it open, and retrieves a gallon of fuel, refilling the flamethrower with a practiced hand. She doesn't spare him a glance, acting as if he were just another fixture in the room, an afterthought. Leon watches her, seeing himself reflected in her harsh routines, the methodical way she checks her every corner. Every movement screams survival. But it's more than that. She's wrapped herself in layers of armor, bound tight by invisible barbed wire, keeping the world at arm's length. He's worn that same armor himself, felt the sting of each barb, and he knows how hard it is to let anyone get close. You sit on a worn chair, focusing on tending to your wounds, cleaning and wrapping them with quick, experienced movements. Leon is scanning your space, his eyes drawn to a small cluster of faded photographs on the shelf. His fingers hover over one of them, hesitating. When did all this start? You keep your eyes on your wound, tightening the bandage just a little too hard. 3 years ago. A pause, then you add, almost as if forcing yourself to speak. The creatures have been around as long as I can remember. They take a few people each month, and no one would care, unless it was family. Just some old folklore, a story to scare kids into staying inside after dark. You take a breath, fighting down the memories crawling their way up. But when the lab shut down, everything changed. They came every night, like clockwork, taking anyone outside after dark. Anyone who didn't make it inside was gone by morning. Now it seems they hunt whenever they need to. It helps that the townspeople offer them sacrifices every week without fail. The room goes silent. Your words hang in the air like a shadow. You brace yourself for him to ask about the people in the photos, about your family, about the ones you lost. But instead his voice is quieter, weighted with something you can't quite place. Why didn't you leave? You freeze, hands still on the bandages. You don't answer right away, letting his questions settle into the silence. Then you resume tending to your wound, though your voice is flat and controlled. I made a promise. I'm not leaving until every last one of those things is dead. No point in a promise if you're not around to see it through. Damn, Leon. Don't even be pessimistic. Also, you're really one to talk, Leon. He nods towards the wounds you've earned along the way, and you roll your eyes. Spare me the lecture. Someone had to fight. It just ended up being me. He steps closer, and your body goes rigid, instinctively pulling back. But he holds out a small tin, something herbal and pungent, with a mix of earthy scents, lavender and other sharper herbs. There's no purple herb in Resident Evil. No, I'm just kidding. What is this? For injuries, works wonders. Hesitantly, you take it, your eyes never leaving his. You study him for a beat, finally breaking the silence. Who exactly are you? He looks at you, his expression's unreadable, a flicker of something cautious before he answers. He just, repeats the opening dialogue from Resident Evil 4, September. Government agent. It makes sense now, his calm in the face of the creatures, the way he handled himself during the day. That doesn't explain everything. You said you were trained for this kind of situation? How many times have you dealt with things like this? Too many. Thanks, Leon. That's a very specific number. He sighs, and for a moment his face softens, his guard slipping just enough for you to catch a glimpse of something deeper. I was a rookie cop the first time it happened. I had to learn the hard way. Afterwards, I didn't exactly have a choice. Rookie cop, even though it was your first day and you didn't really do any cop work, but what do I know? How too many is somewhere between 2 and 1 quadrillion. That's what that says. For a brief moment, you see something raw in his eyes, something that feels uncomfortably close to your own reflection. You didn't have a choice either, not in any of this. Why didn't you leave? Surprise flickers across his face, and for an instant you catch a glimpse of something like pain. It's not that simple. You think you might finally get something real out of him, a piece of truth to hold on to, but then, just as quickly, his walls snap back into place. And someone has to fight. It just ended up being me. You let out a hollow chuckle, but stop yourself before it fully escapes. You can't afford to get comfortable around him. Even if he doesn't seem like a threat now, you remind yourself that he's just another outsider. For all you know, he's only being nice to get under your skin, to make you lower your guard, only to leave like everyone else has. You shove the tin of herbal medicine back at him, a bit more forcefully than necessary. Here, agent, you'll need it more than me. He looks down at it, raising an eyebrow as he takes it back, an expression somewhere between amused and unimpressed. Your reckless confidence is almost charming. I could say the same to you. Well, I am charming. Yeah, alright, Leon. Alright, Leon. With a roll of your eyes, you settle onto the couch, lying down with half an eye onto the door. The other on Leon, who sits a few feet away with his back to the wall, quietly disassembling and cleaning his guns. Your eyes close, but your mind stays alert. Every creak of the old house keeps you tethered to consciousness. It isn't just the threats outside that keep you awake, it's the stranger sharing your space. The one person who could throw everything you've worked for into chaos. Sleep. I'll take the first watch. You start to protest, but he cuts you off with a steady look. If we're going to be a team, you'll need to trust me. You don't respond, but you allow yourself to sink into a light, restless sleep. Your senses half tuned to the sound of the night. The hours stretch on, the room cloaked in heavy silence, and yet with Leon there, for the first time in months, it doesn't feel quite as suffocating. Despite the friction, the guarded words, and the walls, you both refuse to lower. The presence makes the silence feel just a little less unbearable. You wake up to the sound of soft clattering in the kitchen. Your muscles are stiff. Can I just say the music is pretty good in this game? I don't know if it's like original music, I didn't look, but if it is, it's really good. Your muscles are stiff, your body's still on high alert, but as you blink your eyes open, the scent of something cooking hits your senses. Something you haven't smelled in a long time. You sit up, rubbing the sleep from your eyes. The morning light flickers through the cracked window, casting muted shadows across the room. When you finally focus, you see him, Leon standing by the stove, frying something in a pan, his back turned to you. What are you doing? Who said you could touch my stuff? That is not what the option said. At all. Leon doesn't even turn around. His shoulders shift slightly, as if brushing off your comment. Good morning to you, too. You walk over, eyeing the state of your kitchen. You're making a mess. A little mess never killed anyone, unlike other things around here. You're welcome, by the way. You cross your arms, leaning against the wall. Grateful, sure, but no way you're going to give him the satisfaction of knowing that. I didn't ask you to cook. He plates the food and sets it down on the table, gesturing to it with a casual wave. You eye the meal with narrowed eyes, suspicious but intrigued. Leon shrugs. Imagine it's the meme where it's like, making breakfast for my beautiful wife. Who the fuck's burning down my kitchen? Is that what's happening here? Dig in or don't. More for me. You sit down reluctantly, glancing at the food. Simple but warm. The smell is actually kind of nice, though you'd never admit that either. It's better than anything you'd had in a while. You pick up a fork, stabbing into the food without much ceremony, but you're already feeling a little less irritated. Where are we going today? You ask, trying to steer the conversation back to something practical, something that doesn't feel domestic. Leon sits across from you, shrugging as he eats. Your call. Church probably seems the more practical place. Let's go here. The church's door is locked and won't budge, so you and Leon find an open window, pushing aside scattered debris as you climb inside. The smell hits you immediately, thick decay clinging to the air like a warning. Your stomach twists. Or whatever Leon cooked for us is actually rancid. Did we ever think that? The interior is in disarray. Overturned pews, shattered glass, littering the floor, dried bloodstains smeared on the walls. Near the altar, bones and tattered clothing line a haphazard pile, some looking fresher than others. A chill runs down your spine. Have the townsfolk been using this place for sacrifices? Moving cautiously, you search the area for any sign of the keycard. Over there. He points to a white lab coat hanging on a railing on the wooden balcony near the old church organ. A skeleton slumps over it with a twisted, unnatural position. Guess he didn't find salvation after all. Is this really the time for jokes, Leon? You roll your eyes, not even trying to hide your exasperation. You've got a weird sense of humor, you know that? Keeps things interesting. Not everyone appreciates it. I can't imagine why. You look at the key card. I'll get the key card. You wait here. It could be dangerous. Stay here and keep watch. I can't tell if you're being chivalrous or if you think I'm that incompetent. I'll let you figure that out yourself. You're insufferable. It's part of my charm. Oh, that's what you call being a pain in the ass. Your voice echoes loudly in the empty church, the bickering ringing through the silence. Then a sound interrupts, a sound you know too well. The hairs on the back of your neck prick up. Shit. You hadn't expected them here and didn't bring any masks. Desperate, you searched the room for cover. spotting a confession booth in the corner. You and Leon make a break for it, nearly colliding as you both try to slip inside. Get in! You cram inside, dropping your flamethrower on the ground to make space. You dig into your jacket, pulling out a packet of mothballs and scattering them on the floor. The toxic scent should mask your presence, at least for now. As the door closes, 5 creatures emerge from the shadows. They move slowly, lumbering, their steps heavy and sluggish in the dim light. Thankfully, it's not night, and they didn't see you. Otherwise, they'd be in full hunt mode, releasing pheromones that would spell your end. The booth is impossibly small, the air thick with dust and the faint scent of mothballs. You're pressed against Leon, your back into his chest, with barely enough room to breathe, let alone move. His body is warm, his chest rising and falling in sync with yours. Every shift of his muscles against you is making it impossible to ignore him. He leans over you, almost protective. The idea stirs something uncomfortable within you, and you push it against him lightly. Hope you're comfortable, because I'm not. Shouldn't we, shut the fuck up since there's monsters outside? Leon chuckles softly, the sound vibrating against your back, his breath tickling your ear. Oh, I'm perfectly comfortable. If you weren't so tense, you might be too. You shoot him a glare over your shoulder, but it's hard to look menacing when your faces are inches apart, your lips almost brushing his cheek. Could you at least try not to breathe down my neck? Not much choice in here. Besides, you don't seem to mind. Your pulse quickens, irritation mingling with a stubborn, unwanted awareness of him. The plot armor, make sure they don't hear. True. You open your mouth to respond before you can. His hand covers your lips, silencing you as a low snarling noise fills the air. Oh, the plot armor might be breaking! Instantly, both of you go still, barely daring to breathe as one of the creatures stops just outside the booth. Its wet, wheezing breaths. Wet breaths? What a describer. Its wet, wheezing breaths seep through the cracks, filling the small space with tension as thick as the dust. You hold your breath, the feel of his hand on your mouth, and his body pressed tightly against yours, sending your senses into overdrive. It's too much. The heat of his skin, the weight of his arm braced against you, the low hum of his breath against your ear. You can't tell if it's the danger or his closeness that makes your heart pound harder, but either way, you're on edge. The creature pauses, sniffing. It must have picked up on the mothball scent. With a snort, it turns and lumbers off to the other side of the room with the others. You'll need to ambush them to get out. Leon slowly removes his hand, his fingers brushing against your lips before he pulls away completely. I'll lure them. You grab the keycard, we get out. No, we'll have to kill them all. Leon's hand hovers over your waist, his tone soft but firm. Not right now. We're getting out of here first. Fine, we'll follow his lead. You give a reluctant nod. Leon slowly opens the door and slips out, firing at the creatures to draw their attention. They shriek, lumbering after him, their heavy footsteps echoing the cavernous church. With them distracted, he raises his gun, aiming at the lab coat hanging on the balcony. He fires and the coat tumbles down, the keycard slipping free. You dart forward, grabbing the card just as the creatures catch sight of you. Their shrieks intensify, filling the air with urgent, menacing sound. Heart pounding, you sprint for the window, reaching it just as Leon climbs through. He extends a hand, helping you up as the creatures close in. At the last moment, he fires a shot above the window, dislodging a heavy beam. It crashes down, sealing the creatures inside. Their frustrated snarls fade as you both step back, catching your breath. Leon glances at you, a smirk tugging at his lips. See, wasn't so hard, was it? Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Just admit my idea was good. Never. End of a smile escapes and you quickly turn away, heading towards his bike. Come on, let's go before the townsfolk show up. The ride back to her place is shrouded in the rich amber glow of the setting sun, casting long shadows across the path. Leon tries to focus on the road, but it's hard to ignore the warmth of her thighs pressing against him. Damn, we got the good thighs. Alright. Leon's a thigh man? Damn, alright. Didn't think that, but here we are. The way her grip tightens every time they hit a bump. She's distracting in an infuriating, impossible to ignore way. As they near her place, he spots a small group gathered on a street corner, their voices low but thick with tension. She taps his shoulder, signaling for him to stop. They both listen, half hidden in deepening shadows. Bodies in the forest. She's done it again. She needs to be stopped. Leon's gaze shifts, taking the bruises and scars wrapped around the group's wrists, legs, even their necks. Dark marks that look like chains binding them to something unseen. She'll get what she deserves soon. He glances back at her. She rolls her eyes, acting unfazed by their words, but he doesn't miss the way her hands clench the handles of the bike seat, knuckles turning white. Eventually, the group disappears, and Leon nudges the bike forward, gliding it through the empty streets as dusk descends around them. Silence stretches between them, thick and charged until he breaks it. What's with the scars? Damn, Leon, I just can't be asking about that. She's quiet for a moment, gaze fixed on the road ahead, her voice dropping to a low, almost resigned tone. They tie themselves down while they breathe in the creature's scent. It keeps them from wandering into the woods and getting killed, but the aphrodisiac effect still lingers. They're too far gone, all of them. A shiver runs down his spine, unexpected and unwelcome. He decides to shift the mood. Well, it seems you're pretty popular around here. She huffs, as if shaking off the weight of the conversation. I'm the most popular in town. Get your facts right. He accelerates the bike, jolting it forward as they weave through the empty streets. Her arms instinctively wrap around his waist, pressing her body firmly against his back. Glancing over his shoulder, he smirks. You better hold on, Miss Popular. I'll hold on, all right. Just tight enough to choke you out. Hand that to the kinks in here. She pinches his side hard, and he fakes a yelp of pain, through a grin catching the smile in her voice. At least he managed to break through her walls, even if just for a moment. You sit on the floor, turning your focus to your bandages. Leon managed to lift the mood a little on the ride back, but the heaviness still lingers. Sadness twists in your gut as you remember the faces of the townsfolk you once knew. People who had welcomed you, people whose stores you'd visited, whose homes you'd seen with your family. Now they're hollow, driven only the urge to kill you. The memory hits harder than you'd like. You reach for a spot on your back where an old wound has started to ache, and maybe even opened again. But you can't reach it. Cursing softly, you drop your hand, feeling both exhausted and helpless. Leon moves closer, crouching beside you. His face is unreadable as his gaze shifts towards your wounds, something unspoken flickering in his eyes. Can I? Yeah, we'll let him, I guess. You hesitate, that mix of bone-deep exhaustion and something deeper, something harder to name, unsettling you. But after a beat, you nod. His hands move to your back, the press of his fingers steady, careful. The touch is firm, yet gentle. You feel the warmth of his fingertips, the weight of his focus, and you flinch, unprepared for the unexpected tenderness. A lump rises in your throat, and you realize that it's been years since anyone has touched you like this. With such care. It hits you harder than any wound could. Did it hurt? No. It's just lying? We lying again? You keep your gaze fixed ahead, focusing on the sharp, earthy smell of the herbs rather than the heat of his hands on your skin, but it's impossible to ignore him completely. He asks where the spare gauze is, and you mumble its location, barely aware of the words leaving your mouth. When he finishes, his thumb lingers, grazing over your skin as if he can't quite bring himself to let go. Your pulse races, an involuntary reaction you're certain he feels under his fingertips. The realization snaps you out of it, and you push yourself up quickly, turning to his face. The words die on your lips as you catch sight of him. A half-formed laugh bubbling instead. Leon tilts his head, confused. What? What happened? His hair is tangled with cobwebs. Jesus, we didn't notice this when we were on the bike? And bits of dust, probably from when he reached up for the gauze. Oh, okay. I see. You try to hold back your amusement, but it's impossible. Nothing, Spider Boy. Alright, now I gotta cosplay Leon as Spider-Man. It's confirmed. Leon's hand immediately goes to his head, fingers brushing through his hair. Perfect. Just the look I was going for. Dungeon chic. Yeah, of course, Leon. Your laughter spills over, breaking the silence. There's too much webbing, and he can't seem to clear it. No, idiot. Here, let me do it. He goes still as you reach for him, fingers working carefully through the strands of his hair. The room falls quiet again, the silence thickening around you as you pick out each bit of webbing. His breathing slows, deepens, and when your fingers brush against his scalp, you feel his chest rise, a slight hitch in his breath. You keep moving, but there's a strange awareness between you, a heightened focus in each movement, each accidental brush of your fingers. For a moment, he lifts his eyes, meeting yours. They're darker, softer, watching you with an intensity that makes your heart skip. You can feel the warmth of him, smell the faint scent of gunpowder and leather that clings to him, and when his gaze drops to your mouth, he lets out a breath. Small, almost soundless, but heavy. His shoulders tense like he's holding himself back, fighting some internal battle. Your pulse hammers, your fingers pausing in his hair, frozen by the realization that his hand is hovering close to your waist, close enough that you feel its warmth even without the touch. The moment stretches, something electric in the air between you both, your breathing mingling in the charged quiet. Wait. Sure, we can just awkwardly just stand here like this. You pause, holding his gaze for a second longer, the air thickening between you. Leon shifts, blinking as if breaking a spell, then shakes his head, taking a half step back, his eyes darting everywhere but at you. You clear your throat, hoping he can't hear the faint tremor in it. I'll take the first watch tonight. You should rest. He watches you, almost like he's about to argue, but something in your expression, or maybe in his own expression, stops him. He gives a small, reluctant nod, then settles down on the couch. You watch as he finally lets his guard drop, even if just for a moment, his shoulders relaxing into the cushions as his eyes fall shut. You glance down at your fingers, the tingle lingering, reminding you of the warmth that's still caught between you both. The warmth of the sunset slowly fades, casting the room in muted shadows, soft and heavy. You settle onto the floor, flamethrower in hand. This is our emotional support flamethrower over here. Half alert to every shift, every quiet sound from where Leon sleeps. Despite the pull of exhaustion, you resist, staying alert, eyes sharp as you keep watch. Just as your mind begins to drift, a soft choke sound pierces the silence, half muffled, yet unmistakable. Leon stirs restlessly, his face twisted in the dim light, caught in the throes of whatever nightmares haunt him. The faint pain sounds feel like a punch to the chest, striking too close. You can't bear it. Without thinking, you cross the room, sitting beside him, and place a hand on his shoulder, gently shaking him awake. Leon, wake up. His eyes fly open, wide and unfocused, his gaze meeting yours with a mix of fear and confusion. Look at our poor terrified boy here! His breath is uneven, and for a moment he doesn't move, doesn't even speak, as though he's still trapped somewhere else. Slowly his gaze sharpens, taking in the familiar surroundings. He rubs a shaky hand over his face, his forehead damp with sweat. A faint shiver runs through him. You're unused to offering comfort, unfamiliar with the vulnerability of it all, but you remember small, distant gestures, how your parents would hold you, ground you when the night grew too dark. Ooh, this one, I feel like this is kind of the more romantic choice here. But I'll go with this one because it seems more practical. Breathe with me, alright? Just take it one breath at a time. Leon takes a slow, shaky breath, mirroring your calm inhale, his chest rising in sync with yours. A hint of relief crosses his face as he follows your lead. His breaths become steadier with each inhale. Acting on instinct, you lean in closer, your hand lingering on his shoulder. His body shifts towards yours, unconsciously seeking out warmth and steadiness. He presses closer, his hand finding its way to the small of your back, his fingers flexing as if searching for something solid to hold on to. It's too much. I know. I don't know what scares me more. The things I've seen, or the idea that this might be the rest of my life. I barely remember what normal even feels like. Without thinking, you pull him in tighter, committing to the feel of his warmth and the steady press of his weight against you to memory. I get it. I wish I didn't, but I do. He hums softly, a sound halfway between relief and resignation, his tension melting as he lets himself lean into you. I need to say something. Oh boy. You need to say something. His breathing steadies, and for a moment the two of you are wrapped in a shared silence, the kind that feels less empty and more whole. I see on Twitter that Twitter's been auto-translating. I'm curious what auto-translate on YouTube looks like. I haven't come across, like, auto-translated YouTube titles yet. You start to imagine, just for a second, what a life like this would be, where these quiet, stolen moments aren't so rare, where his touch isn't fleeting. Then, as if sensing the shift, he abruptly pulls back. His gaze drops, and he clears his throat, barrier rising again between you. Thanks. I'll keep watch now. I won't be able to fall asleep anyway. He rises to his feet, stepping toward the kitchen, but not before you catch a brief flicker in his eyes, a look that mirrors the feeling still lingering on your skin, the strange subtle ache left by his warmth. Silently, you take a spot on the couch, your mind spinning, replaying the warmth, the closeness, the way he'd held on to you, and for that brief, charged moment, you know rest won't come easily tonight. He watches her as she sleeps, her face softened in the quiet peace of it. The comfort between them tonight had been good, too good, unnervingly so. Yeah, I imagine some languages YouTube would be better at auto-translating than others. Yeah, Twitter has been mostly, like, it's so weird how many tweets I see now that are just auto-translated. He shouldn't let himself get so attached. He knows better than anyone how quickly trauma binds people, weaving fragile connections from shared pain. Ada? We talking about Ada? But soon he'll be gone, off to fight some other nightmare in some other cursed place. She can still have a life after this, something steady, something real, something he gave up a long time ago. It's too late for him. He's been carrying this weight for far too long to think he could ever put it down. The idea of a future, of life beyond the fight, hovers in the back of his mind like a cruel joke, something he refuses to reach for. He won't let himself hope for anything beyond survival. It's really him! Leon! Yeah, it's Leon! To Leon! Hope is dangerous. He can't afford it. Damn! What's the price of hope inflation? If it was expensive in 2005, how bad is it now? You wake to the soft light of early morning filtering through the sealed windows, a quiet stillness hanging in the air. For a moment, you let yourself lie there, gathering the fractured pieces of last night in your mind. His warmth, the way he'd leaned into your embrace before pulling away. The echo of it lingers, a faint ache that tightens in your chest. But when you finally sit up, any trace of that moment is gone. Leon stands near the door, his back to you as he checks his gear, his movements sharp and efficient. A steely resolve making any vulnerability he'd shown. He doesn't look at you, doesn't even acknowledge your presence as you rise. Oh god, now we're in the... We got so close, but we can't be doing this. The contrast is jarring, the memory of last night's closeness dissolving into the cold distance of his posture. Breakfast is on the table. Eat. We need to move. I don't know, he's kind of really jacked in this game. Not that he isn't jacked in 4, but like, good lord, he's... Waistline is also snatched as hell. You frown, an edge of frustration tugging at you. His tone is clipped, his eyes hard, as he straps on his gear. Every action radiating an almost a palpable wall of distance. It's as if he's put up another layer of armor overnight, shutting you out entirely. Good morning to you too. He pauses, and for a split second you catch a flicker of something almost guilty on his face. But it's gone as quickly as it appears, his gaze hardening as he turns back to his gear. How do you feel? Fine. Don't get the wrong idea about yesterday. His words sting, colder than you'd expect. You glare, refusing to let him see how much they affect you. Same, it didn't mean anything. You're still insufferable. Good. Good. Oh great, now we're back to being tsunderes. You square your shoulders, swallowing down your own frustration as you gather your things, each movement pointed and deliberate. After last night, this cold detachment feels like a slap, a calculated retreat back into distance. One more stop and then you're nearly free of this hellhole and everyone in it, right? He glances at you, his jaw tightening as if holding back a response. For a second you wonder if he'll soften, but his face stays set, a mask of indifference. Right. It's a dismissal, plain and simple. You force yourself to look unfazed as you gulp down the breakfast he prepared, refusing to let him see how much his sudden shift has gotten under your skin. The silence between you is thick and heavy, each of you moving with a determination that borders on anger. You spend part of the day loading up on fuel, making preparations. You barely speak, and when you do, it's clipped, cold, a silent truce at best. The construction site looks the same as you remember, rusting metal frames, cracked concrete, and piles of debris waiting to collapse at any moment. A maze of danger even before the creature started to roam. You've gotten most of the explosives out over the years, but there are always a few crates in place too risky to reach on your own. Maybe now with Leon's help you can finally grab the rest. As you lead him through the site, you feel the weight of his gaze scanning the area, always assessing, always alert. He moves like a trained agent, calculated, confident. He makes it all look so easy, like he's strolling through a park instead of a half-collapsed death trap. Then, voices echo through the steel beams, faint but unmistakable. You and Leon freeze at the same time. We need to clear all this junk out. She's still using those damn explosives. I don't know where she keeps finding more of them. Shit. You can't see them, but you can hear their footsteps crunching through the rubble. Too many of them to handle head-on. Tension coils in your gut as you look at Leon, who's already watching you with that annoyingly calm expression. If we want to search in peace, we need to get rid of them. Or we could just sneak past them. You shoot him an unwithering glance. Voice dripping with sarcasm. Yeah, because that's worked so well for me in the past. These people aren't exactly blind, Leon. Getting them to leave is safer. Sneaking past them is smarter. Less chance of getting caught. The air between you crackles, each of you digging in your heels, neither willing to back down. I'm going to make them leave. You... Go talk to them. What? Me? Yes, tell them that you saw a woman in the forest with explosives, and you came to warn them. Leon gives you a look, somewhere between skeptical and annoyed. What, you think I'm some kind of actor? You already act like a clown half the time. Shouldn't be too hard. God damn. I feel like y'all are... Chat, you're gonna steal this one. I can already see you're gonna steal this one. And whenever I'm acting like a clown, you're just gonna say this. He rolls his eyes, muttering something under his breath. What, circus in town? But after a reluctant shake of his head, he disappears into the shadows. You stay back, listening to him spin the tale you fed him. His voice is low and steady, just convincing enough. Before long, hurried footsteps echo through the construction site as the townsfolk move into the direction he pointed them. Leon reappears, looking surprised. They must really hate you. I told you it'd work. Believe me next time. There won't be a next time. The words hit harder than they should, and you bite your lip, swallowing down a retort. Right. The silence between you thickens, uncomfortable in charge, as you lead them deeper into the construction site, carefully stepping over the broken concrete. When you reach a ledge, he steps forward, extending a hand to help you. I'm too original to even remember what was said. That's not because I didn't pay attention. Absolutely not. Basically, saying that Leon acts like a clown. And I know y'all would call me a clown. Because I'm the first ever live streamer. You ignore it, finding your own way up. And catch a glimpse of his jaw tightening as you pull yourself over the edge. Crates are over here, but don't get too comfortable. The scaffolding's a mess. One wrong move and you'll be buried. Be careful. You give him a sharp look, searching his face, hot and cold. Impossible to understand. One moment he's distant, the next he's acting like he cares. It only makes things more confusing. You shake your head as you make your way to the crates and start to gather explosives from the crates, putting them in the bag. You move to a different crate and try to pry it open. Let me. I can do it. I know. I just don't want you to get hurt. You give him a skeptical look, arching an eyebrow. What's your deal? Either you care about me and my well-being or you don't. Make up your mind. He hesitates, his gaze shifting slightly, and for a moment he looks almost guilty. It's complicated. Of course it is. With a sigh, you step aside, letting him take over. But in his eager... Of course, but in his eagerness, his shirt snags on the jagged piece of metal jutting out from the crate, tearing down one side to expose a strip of bare skin. Don't get too hot and bothered, chat. You can't help the smirk that tugs at your lips. Nice one, agent. He looks down at the ruined shirt, unimpressed. Just what I needed. You turn back to the explosives, putting them in the bag, trying to ignore the rustling fabric behind you. Okay, Leon. Okay, Leon. Sure. But when you glance over, he's shrugging off the shirt entirely, leaving his upper body bare, every line of muscle and scars exposed in the dim light. For a second, you're caught off guard, your eyes lingering on the hard planes of his chest and the subtle movement of his shoulders. So this is the dating sim part. Yeah, this part in particular. You force yourself to look away, jaw clenched, but he notices and he's clearly not letting you off the hook. Didn't think you'd get distracted that easily. You clench your jaw, willing your pulse to steady. I'm just wondering if you plan on struggling around like that. We're here for supplies, not a show. A clown show? A circus, if you will. He chuckles, tossing the torn shirt aside with a smirk. That's littering, Leon! As much as you love that, I've got a spare on my bike. Unless, of course, you want me to stay like this. Without missing a beat, you raise your eyebrow, leaning in just enough to make him hesitate. And what if I do? Here it goes, chat. He swallows, his playful facade slipping as you close... Facade? Remember that game? I kind of want to re-download that game and play it. I missed that game. Facade's a good game. His playful facade slipping as you close the space between you in two purposeful strides, your gaze holding his with a silent, unspoken challenge. What would you do, Leon? Obey? Obey is crazy. His eyes widen slightly, his back pressed against the crate, caught between wanting to pull you closer and the tension thickening in the air between you. Oh, Jesus Christ! What is this, dude? Oh, God. Jules, if this were a woman, you would not be questioning this. His breath hitches, and for a moment, he's entirely at your mercy. His gaze drifting down to your lip. Bro, what? His gaze drift. Remember, we're outside where these monsters can get us. This is kind of crazy. His gaze drifting down to your lips before flicking back up, the silent answer written all over his face. I'd listen. His voice is rough, barely more than a whisper. You tilt your head, letting the silence linger, savoring the way his body tenses. How his hands clench at his sides as he waits, every muscle wound tight with anticipation. What else would you do? Just compare how I played the Resident Lover dating sim with women to this, and it's like night and day. With them, I'm blushing because it's like women, and here I'm just like, I'm laughing because I can't take it seriously because it's a man. You step closer, your breath ghosting over his cheek, your lips just inches from his ear. Tell me. He hesitates, his gaze flickering between your eyes and his lips, his voice thick with the tension simmering between you. Whatever you want. A shiver runs through him as he says it, his words carrying a silent, desperate plea. I don't like where this is going! You know, Rhea did say earlier, we need more people that actually like men in this channel. I don't think that's ever happening at this rate. I play a dating sim with a man, and we're all just laughing over here. Not because it's bad. I want to preface that it's not bad. It's just... It's just I'm not attracted to men. His breathing quickens, his body instinctively leaning towards you, his control unraveling one frayed thread at a time. I kind of laugh at muscles. Okay, muscles on a man, I'm like, eh. Muscles on a woman, I'm like, this just in, local female streamer Bad Games Jules doesn't take men seriously. Has feminism gone too far? I'm gonna get the, I mean, let's be, at least I'm not hating on it. At least I'm beating the man-hating lesbian allegations. I'm not beating the laughs at men allegations. Oh. But you hold the distance, savoring his struggle to keep his composure as you linger, each second stretching out, testing his resolve. Then tell me why you're pushing me away. Where's my dating sim like this with Jill. Jill, I'd be locked the fuck in. I mean, like I said, Resident Lover is a female dating sim. So, like, a woman who... Winners who love winning. WLW dating sim. And you saw how locked in I was for that. This is just... I wonder if there's more of the men ones. Like, if this was Chris, I'd just be laughing so hard. I love Leon, so, like, this is just... Oh, I can't take it seriously, even though I love Leon. He swallows hard, the conflict in his eyes deepening. I just thought about it. If some girl who, like, legitimately loves Leon... Or, like, I guess anyone who legitimately, like, finds Leon, like... to be their husband or whatever comes across this VOD and just sees a bunch of lesbians in my chat and me just being like, ha, men. They're gonna be in for like, this is the worst playthrough I've ever seen. It's better this way. Do you really think so? His jaw clenches, a flicker of vulnerability. Oh my god! A flicker of vulnerability flashing across his face. He's teetering on the edge and he decided to tip him over. I mean, if we're doing, let's, you know what? Sure, let's go with the kinkier one. Bite his neck. Your lips brush over his pulse, feeling the rapid beat under his skin. Then, what if we're actually a vampire this whole time? There we go. The music cutting off there was kind of on key there. I hope someone comments mad. I'll rage bait them. You could just make a fake account that looks rage baited and then respond to that. There you go. Gets me more engagement that way. Hold on, one moment. I need to drink some more water. Also, I need to fix my wig. It is irritating me. No, they're not a vampire. I would know. I mean, what? Right, because vampires are only gay. You're right. You're right. You're right. Alright, my bad. Alright, lock in. We're locking in. Your lips brush under his pulse. Your lips brush over his pulse, feeling the rapid beat under his skin. Then with a slow deliberation, you let your teeth graze his neck, biting just hard enough to leave a faint red mark. He sucks in a sharp breath, his grip on the crate tightening, every line of his body going rigid as he holds back a groan. You take your time. Jesus Christ! I didn't think that they'd appear! Oh my god! Okay. I think this is the first dating sim where I've seen that happen. My boyfriend says he prefers femboys rip. I mean... to be fair, a lot of the male characters I like Muichiro from Demon Slayer, Rosato from Fire Emblem Three Houses, those are men! But they're very feminine looking men, so I love them. Hello, we're still outside, no? Yeah, we're still outside on the construction site. Doing all this in broad daylight. Ooh. Unless you meant like femboy, okay. Oh, I think I know. You meant like femboys over women in general, I'm guessing. My bad, I thought you were like femboys over like muscular, you know, masculine men. That's crazy. It's also crazy how many gay people I've aggregated in my chat, but you know, is it really that crazy? Sorry, gotta lock in. You take your time, marking his skin inch by inch, each spot a small claim. His head tips back, exposing his throat, the control he's holding on to slipping with every second. No one, I swear to God, no one clipped this is what I'm about to say. God, you're making this hard. His voice is ragged, strained with barely contained desire. You pull back just slightly, smirking as his gaze meets yours, filled with a mixture of frustration and need. Answer me, Leon. Is it better this way? He's breathing heavily now, his chest rising and falling against your hand. His eyes dark with the battle raging inside him. He swallows, his voice barely steady. No. A spark of triumph flares in your chest, but you keep your composure, raising an eyebrow, issuing one last silent challenge. Then maybe you should let go for once. For a split second, surprise flickers across his face, followed by a flash of determination. I'm gonna report the VOD! No. No, don't do that. It's as if your words finally break the last of his restraint, with a roughness that sends a thrill through you. His hands find your waist, pulling you close. His lips crash against yours, the kiss fierce, desperate, everything he's been holding back spilling over in one intense moment. But then a faint noise from somewhere nearby, a soft scuffling. Yeah, we're still outside! Barely perceptible, but enough to cut through the haze. You pause, pulling back just enough to break the spell. And he's left standing there, flushed, breathing hard, his eyes filled with a mixture of embarrassment and raw need. Silently, he grabs the bag of supplies, his hands unsteady, his gaze shifting away from you with a kind of reverence, as though he's trying to regain his composure. He's just standing there, flushingly! I love that. That's a good one. The tension between you lingers as you walk back to the bike, his steps slower than usual, as if the weight of what just happened is pressing down on him. When you reach the bike, you climb on behind him, wrapping your arms around his waist without a second thought. Okay, I will give them something. They didn't write Leon as like this dominant man because he's absolutely not. So I do appreciate that they wrote him like this because this does seem very in character for Leon. He is not like the dominant type here, so I will say this is more in character, so I do appreciate that. He stiffens, his muscles going taut beneath your touch, and a slight flush creeps up his neck. You're close enough to sense every shift of his body, the tension he's still holding on to. The engine roars to life as he drives off. You lean forward, resting your cheek against his back, feeling the steady beat of his heart. A small, secretive smile plays on your lips, knowing full well that the memory of your touch, of that kiss, is something you won't be able to shake off easily. You both make it back to your house. Your bodies worn yet buzzing with the lingering high of pleasure. You tell yourself to forget it, to push the memory aside, but it clings to you, refusing to fade. The two of you stand in the... Where did the marks go? The two of you stand in the quiet, a small distance between you. The tension is thick, like an unspoken pull, drawing you back toward each other. Your eyes meet briefly before both of you look away, awkward and uncertain. The silence presses down, broken only by the sound of your breaths. You shift, trying to focus, but your mind keeps slipping back to him, hyper-aware of his presence, his closeness, the memory of his touch still vivid in your mind. So, who gets first watch? Neither of you are looking at each other, as you step forward, you end up bumping into him, his hands moving instinctively to steady you, his grip firm and grounding. You glance up, your eyes flickering down to his lips, your body reacting before your mind has a chance to catch up. We can decide later. The tension in his voice mirrors your own, a hint of something more than just exhaustion or proximity. Your gaze settles on his mouth, and he hesitates only a moment before leaning in, closing the space between you. See, this is when you start to get freaky. When you're inside. This is just a PSA to not have public indecency. Your lips meet in a kiss that's hesitant at first, each of you testing the waters, as though unsure if it's okay to give in. But it deepens quickly, growing more urgent, a shared hunger that flares up from the quiet. You literally just missed some of the freakier shit, but I think we're about to go into that. But you literally just missed, like, the freaky shit. But we're about to get freaky right now. Leon pulls back, his eyes scanning the room, a brief look of focus returning to his expression. We need to focus. How freaky we talking? Go to the YouTube VOD and just go to the YouTube VOD and just go backwards by like 5 minutes. Continue. You don't pull back, neither does he. The kiss deepens, your breath mingling as the urgency builds, the tension stretching until it's almost unbearable. You press closer, feeling the heat radiate between you, but a faint noise breaks through the haze, a quiet shuffling sound from one of the back rooms. Not the back rooms, bro! Leon freezes, his head turning towards the noise, but it's too late. Shadows spill into the room, the townsfolk moving fast and silent. God damn it! Before either of you can react, rough hands grab you from behind, dragging you backwards as you struggle, your limbs caught in their grip. Leon fights back, a flash of anger in his eyes, but he's overpowered too. Forced to his knees beside you. Oh, damn. No, we're getting kidnapped. When you regain consciousness, you're in a cage, cold iron pressing against your back. Your gaze darts. You don't get freaky ever, chat. This is the lesson here. Your gaze darts around the dimly lit clearing, only to see Leon lying across from you, stirring, his expression clouded and disoriented. A figure steps forward, the leader of the townsfolk, his eyes glinting with dark intent as he studies you both. I tried to reason with you, but you won't listen. So now, you'll see it. Feel it. You push against the bars of the cage. Let us out! Soon, you'll be one of us. He disappears in the shadows, just as sickly sweet scent fills the air, thick and cloying. It seeps into your lungs, spreading through your body with a heady warmth. That'd be heavy, but heady. Fogging your thoughts, clouding your senses. Dread pulls in your stomach. You push against the bars. Again, desperation flooding you. But they hold fast, the unforgiving metal biting into your skin. Heat floods your veins, a flush crawling up your neck as every inch of you feels electrified, hypersensitive. You push against the bars instinctively, trying to get closer to the source of the scent, but the cage holds firm. Frustration and desire mix, intensifying with every breath as the scent works its way through you. Impossible to resist. Your gaze falls on Leon, and you see he's affected too, his body tense, shivering as he grips the bars, his chest heaving. His gaze meets yours, his eyes dark and filled with the same aching need. He fights it, jaw clenched, but you can see it's only a matter of time before the pheromones overwhelm him completely. The primal urge to move, to feel, is consuming, and when the need to follow the creature finally subsides, a different heat takes its place, pulsing through you, desperate for release. Your body is too hot, every nerve straining, and you turn to Leon, feeling the pull of him. What do you mean this be vanilla? They're literally freaking in a outdoor construction site where monsters could get them. That's some freaky shit, bro. Feeling the pull of him, closeness between you, only the relief from the unbearable ache. You reach out, your hand finding his, and he shudders under your touch. His grip tightening as if holding onto you is the only thing keeping him grounded. I can't take it anymore. I need you. Oh god. Oh god! You close the distance between you, succumbing to the pull, your mind hazy. Oh my god. In that moment, nothing else matters. Not the cage, not the watching eyes, not the twisted situation you find yourself in. There's only you and him, lost in the heat that won't fade. I feel this is I was gonna say this is probably a bad end. Okay. What the hell? A tape comes out of the TV. You grab it. You have a feeling you should give it to someone. What the fuck? What the fuck? Hello? Did we switch to a different game? Someone is humming in a spooky tune. Oh hey, you're back. Come, let's have a talk. What? Huh? You return the VHS to her and she smiles at you. Thanks, how was it? I hope you enjoyed the tape. We tried some different ingredients this time. What are these tapes? They allow us to connect to AUs, aka alternate universes. They're made with ingredients we gather on our travels, like slow burn embers and cliche caramel. Which ingredients are used for the next tape? I'm not sure yet. The crew members decide. The travel logs will be updated once a decision is made. Voting always happens at the beginning of the month, so if you want to take part, join our crew. Sure thing, darling. If you need anything, you know where to find me. Yeah, I was gonna say, this seems like a... What? Okay. What the hell? Talk to Lou. He's waiting for you. What? 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 Yeah, did we just stumble upon a Yuri game now? What the fuck? I guess reload my save. Alright, alright. We're gonna... Okay. Make them leave. Yup. Okay. Pull back. You pull back, sensing something in his tone. A subtle warning. He's picking up on something. And his instincts are rarely wrong. Taking a deep breath, you glance around, steadying yourself as your pulse slows. Right. Let's check everything first. The two of you move quietly through the house, but a chill of unease spreads through you when you spot it. The window slightly ajar, a faint sign of tampering. A surge of panic hits and Leon quickly motions for you to be silent, his gaze sharp and focused. You barely have time to grab a few essentials before he gestures toward the door, urgency clear in his eyes. As you reach the bike, Leon climbs on, holding steady as you settle behind him. You just missed the freaky parts, Egg! Come on! We better get more freak parts. Just then, shadows emerge from your house, townsfolk creeping toward you with barely a sound. Okay, look, Trash Man, your definition of freaky is like the normal definition times 10. Albert's definition of freaky is like the normal one minus 10. So there's the scale there. On Labor Day? Yeah, it's Leon Day. You barely duck in time as one of them takes aim, bullets grazing the air as Leon speeds off, guiding you both out of danger. You ride silently into the forest, the night stretching on around you as you pull into the cover of an old campsite, a secluded hideout you keep hidden for emergencies. Okay, -5, is that better? At least I didn't say divided by 10. The adrenaline fades, leaving you shivering, and Leon pulls you close, wrapping you in a protective warmth. Oh, good lord. Not the Genshin. Thank you for being here, or for being there. Leon shakes his head slightly, a small, almost self-deprecating smile tugging at his lips. I didn't realize it's nice having someone to watch your back. He glances at you, his expression softening. For a moment, something shifts in the space between you. Something unspoken that settles warm and heavy in your chest. Nice and terrifying. You nod, sensing a quiet kinship in him. Even with so little time together, it feels like your souls are crafted from the same battered material, scarred and unbreakable, forged by the same fire. But I think I might want to try dealing with that feeling. There's a quiet vulnerability in his voice that makes you pause, and you find yourself nodding again, more slowly. Me too. He holds your gaze, the silence stretching out, carrying a weight you're both aware of, but neither of you is ready to name. Gradually, the conversation shifts back to practicalities, and the two of you settle down discussing the final plan in low voices as the night stretches on. But as dawn— until dawn! What a fun game that is. But as dawn approaches, the sense of purpose gives away something softer. Something that feels like peace, a quiet acknowledgement of what you're facing, and the strange comfort you found in each other. It's an unspoken promise lingering between you as the first light begins to filter. The day has finally come. You spent what feels like a lifetime preparing for this, scavenging supplies, gathering weapons, and planning every possible step. On the way here, you even ran into a strange merchant. "What are you buying, stranger?" As if he'd appear out of thin air. He was selling Molotov cocktails and incendiary grenades, and you still have no idea where he came from or where he disappeared to after. Now, with everything you've acquired stashed in worn duffel bags, you approach the lab, Leon walking beside you in tense silence. The air feels charged, the kind of stillness that presses down on you, like the world itself knows that something is about to end. Today is the final day. One way or another, it'll all be over. You sure about this? Last chance to turn back. You nod, tightening your grip on your pendant. There's no need to say it. You're beyond turning back now. You spent too long fighting to end this nightmare. At last, you'll fulfill your promise. Here goes nothing, or everything. With a swift, practiced motion, Leon uses the key card on the rusted door. It swings open with a groan. You step into the darkness of the lab. the stale air thick with decay and memories. Leon murmurs into the radio, requesting directions, his voice low and controlled. Then together you step into the darkness of the lab, your senses on high alert. The tunnels are dimly lit, shadows pulling in every corner, and it isn't long before the creatures start to emerge, drawn by the scent of the living. You and Leon fall into sync immediately, wielding fire and steel like extensions of yourself. The flamethrower roars to life, bathing the corridors in flickering orange as you burn through the waves of creatures that come at you, one after another. Their shrieks fill the narrow space, echoing off the walls, but you don't hesitate. You push forward, side by side, determined to see this through. In one of the tunnels, Leon stumbles upon the remains of the team he'd been searching for. They didn't make it. A grim realization hardens his expression, and something fierce flickers in his eyes. With a renewed fury, he presses forward, his strikes becoming sharper, his movement more aggressive, as if each creature he cuts down might somehow make up for their loss. Finally, you reach the nest. It's a massive cavern, the walls crawling with the sickly pale forms of the creatures, their larvae pulsing in clusters like grotesque flowers. The sight makes your skin crawl, but you steel yourself, knowing that this is the heart of it all. This is what you need. This is what is needed to be destroyed. Well, that's disgusting. Almost makes me miss the zombies. Does Resident Evil ever call them zombies? I'm trying to think if that ever does happen. Yeah? Okay. I don't know why I kept thinking it was like one of those franchises where they don't refer to them as zombies. I was like, do they actually call them zombies? I don't know why I did. Because, like, the further the games go along, they're not really zombies anymore. So I'm, like, thinking early games. I'm like, huh. No, this has been a really good dating sim. I'm just not attracted to men, so I'm not, like, getting heart palpitations over here. But it's decent. It's good. Zombies. Zombies. And before you ask, no, you don't want the details. Moving in perfect sync, you and Leon communicate silently, exchanging looks and gestures as you position the explosives around the nest with practiced efficiency. It's as though you've been partners for years, each movement seamlessly coordinated, guided by a quiet understanding. Leon pauses, glancing at you with a faint, almost wistful smile. Guess this is it, huh? One last goodbye to this hellhole? Remind me to leave a bad Yelp review. Did Yelp exist in 2005? We're Googling this. We're Googling this. Hold on. It did! Yelp was created in 2004! Alright. Okay. I give the author credit. Yep. I did not think Yelp was created then. That's crazy. You chuckle, steeling yourself as Leon is a Yelper. Yeah, this also confirms that Leon's a Yelper. I don't think he'd leave bad. I think he'd purposefully just leave pun reviews all the time. Just nothing actually like critiquing the restaurant. It's just like just bad dad jokes constantly. You chuckle, steeling yourself as he takes aim at the first explosive. His finger tightens on the trigger. With a single shot, he ignites the charge. The explosion tears through the nest, fire and debris raining down as the walls shake. The entire structure begins to collapse. Run! He grabs your hand, and together you sprint through the tunnels, dodging falling beams and crumbling walls. The roar of the explosion echoes behind you, the ground trembling beneath your feet. Adrenaline surges through you, pushing you forward, step by desperate step. You make it outside just as the building collapses entirely, a cloud of dust and ash billowing into the sky. For a moment, relief overwhelms you, and you sink to the ground, catching your breath. But it's short-lived. Emerging from the shadows, the townsfolk gather, their faces twisted with fury. What did you do? Oh, you know, just some light redecorating. Thought the place could use some more airflow. Leon grabs your hand again, and you both take off, sprinting towards his bike at the edge of the forest. He starts it up, and you cling to him as he accelerates, tearing down the narrow road leading out of town. But the townsfolk are already blocking the way, their figures a wall of resistance, determined to stop you from leaving. Suddenly, the roar of engines cut through the tension. Black cars appear on the road ahead, their sleek forms glinting in the fading light as they screech to a halt. Reinforcements spill out, armed agents and soldiers surrounding you both. Well, look at that. Fashionably late as usual. Nice of them to show up after we did all the hard work. The townsfolk falter, their expression shifting to fear as they realize they're outmatched. Within moments, they scatter, disappearing into the alleys and shadows. A shaky sigh escapes you, the tension in your body finally loosening as safety settles over you, tangible and real. You get off the bike and look over at Leon, equally exhausted but relieved. The weight of the mission's end pressing down on both of you. The agents will take care of everything now. It's over. You reach for the pendant around your neck, kissing it gently, a silent tribute to the journey that brought you here. You made it. You survived. But as the adrenaline fades, a new kind of fear begins to creep in. A fear of the unknown, of what lies beyond this moment. What now? The words linger in the air, uncertain. The life you once knew feels like a distant memory, and an ache builds in your chest as you realize there's nothing left to return to. Leon's gaze softens, and he extends his hand towards you, offering a gentle, reassuring smile. Well, I hear boring is all the rage these days. Want to give it a try? Alright, Leon! Oh god, here we go, we got the flirty one now. I can show you what it means to be normal again. Yeah, Leon, like you know what normal means. You raise an eyebrow, a faint smile tugging at your lips. As if you know what that means! I know how Leon's like, yep. X to doubt. He laughs, a warm, genuine sound that dispels the last of the tension from his face. Maybe I don't, but we can figure it out together. For a moment you hesitate, your eyes meeting his, seeing something in his gaze that you hadn't noticed before. A promise, a shared understanding of what you both endured, and what might lie ahead. Slowly you reach out, taking his hand, feeling the warmth of his grip steadying you, grounding you in this uncertain future. Together you step forward, toward whatever the future holds. Now you have a new mission, one shaped by hope, resilience, and the possibility of something more. Hooray! I'm pretty sure that's the best ending. I think there's 4. I'm pretty sure that would be the best ending. Okay. Alright! That was a fun little dating sim. I liked it. There is a whole, Alright, Leon, now we make a baby! Oh, God. There is, like, I think a whole Resident Evil 4 visual novel that's just, like, taking Resident Evil 4 and it's just purely a visual novel. I have installed it. I have to see how long it is because I know my throat would die trying to read all of Resident Evil 4 as a visual novel. Yeah, that was fun. I liked it. If you want to try out the game, it is in the YouTube description. Yeah, I recommended. Recommended by Leon. Alright, I will be back on Wednesday with more Date Everything. Y'all are gonna love that episode. And then Friday's more Near Replicant. So I'll see y'all then. Bye-bye!